Hey guys, it's Sonia. Making sure that's dried paint. Who's out there? Let me think, because I don't know the days of the week anymore because we were caught in a snow globe. Which reminds me, I need to watch the old Krampus movie. Krampus is coming to town, right? And he's coming here at the shop. This will be our 4th annual Krampus visit. If you know about the Krampus, let me know. Hey, Christine, how are ya? It's a German, which Matt will definitely tell you if he was here. He's working the front desk right now. But yeah, actually, you know what? That'd be so fun to do a video and talk about Krampus. That would really get him lit up. He loves to have fun and talk about scary German folklore, right? Well, he's not scary as long as you've been good. Then you'll be fine. But it's the bad kids. Those are the ones that, you know, yeah, don't go near any baskets. If you know, you know. Tell me if you know. So it is Sonia, and I'm trying to put my apron on here because it will help me avoid it will help me avoid getting paint all over everything I own. Yeah, I pretty much got rid of my paint clothes when I moved out of my house, when I moved houses. I looked at them, and honestly, they could have probably stood up and walked away because there was so much paint on my hoodies, and, you know, I painted every day of my life. So when you're painting furniture, you're leaning over and you're getting stuff on your clothes. And anyhow, so I threw all my paint clothes away, you know, and I'm like, I feel like I should frame it because I'm a very introspective, you know, I just think about those things. And what's the word I'm looking for? When you're just really, you know, you can look at stuff and you see history and you're like, I feel like I should keep that, right? Like, you know, you can't keep everything. Anyhow, I ended up throwing it away, but, you know, I looked at all the paint splatters and I was just, you know, looking at all them and all the history. Deborah, how are you? Molly's on here. Pam's on here. Good to see you guys. What are you up to this Saturday? But I threw away a lot of my paint clothes, so now I have to like find new things that I'm going to designate. This is my favorite, currently my favorite. I've had this for a few years. Matt bought me this sweatshirt and it's really heavy, so it's been really cold. And so I've been hunkered down with like 3 to 4 layers of clothes on. One of these days we'll be able to peel it back like an onion layer, but I'm just a big ball of, you know, like layers right now. And I'm okay with that, but I do want to try to like, you know, not get too much paint on it. I say too much because I already got some on it. What you gonna do? That is life, right? So let's see. I'm at the shop and I'm gonna do a little painting everything that I have around me. I'm painting myself out of this space because I've collected so many thrift things and I put them aside. You know, when we last painted, I painted that wooden bowl, which now it should be dried and cured. So it might go up on my website today, Sonia Miller Art or junkmonkeypaint.com. We're going to paint with some Junk Monkey paints right now. And last year I did all these slices. Claudia, how are you? Linda's on here. Shirley. So last year I did all these slices and I painted it and sold every single one. This is one that's kicking around that never made its debut. And so, I just put some fresh paint over it. There was a little design onto it when I picked these up thrifting last year. I found a bag of them and they already had like, words, like it could be like holly, jolly, ho, ho, ho. And anyhow, all I did was put black paint over the top of it, and then I painted my florals on it. And then I set up a little tree, and I sold all my little painted slabs. And they all sold. But this one here has just been hanging around, and, you know, counting crows, I'm getting in my head, hanging around. But yeah, it looks like a birch slab. Oh my gosh, it is a birch tree slab. See, growing up, I would love it when we go to the cabin and I would take this mesh bag and mom or dad would say, we're getting ready to start the fire now. Go out and get some birch off the trees because it's like paper, right? You know, it's that stuff that peels off a tree. And I would love going out and just ripping off, you know, I just love that. Ripping off the layers of the birch tree that all would be hanging off because yeah, it was like paper. And then you bring it back and you light it and you could light your fire, right? Like if you got a birch tree and you've got a lighter, you can start a fire. All right, that's my PSA of the day. Hey, Julia, Robin, Renee, good to see you. So yeah, I'm going to paint this one today because it's ready for some love. Just paint myself out of the odds and ends. So every day I'm trying to add to my website. I love that I can put up anything that I want. On Etsy, this would not be considered vintage or handmade, right? This is a product by another company. So when I say like the other, if you ever hear me say the other side of the shop or the other side of the business or the two businesses, so I have a second business, and it's where we are right now. It's where my paint world and all my fine magical goods collide. So I have a metaphysical shop as well. So it's all under one roof. And so part of that magical fine goods store is I love to have some stationery for my customers. So these are the books. Now you may have seen me. I put up some videos in recent months of me like working in my book. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to start a new section on my website, and it's going to have these really cool leather bound books. I'll show them to you in a second. This is mine here. And what I do is I use mine to paint into like, Cheryl, I love that you're saying happy Saturday to everybody. That's so nice of you. Yeah, so what I do is if you have a little book, it's like less threatening than if you paint it on a big white canvas, right? It's in your sketchbook. And nobody has to see it. It's within a little book. And all I do is I use wax paper or parchment paper and I put it between the sheets. So when you paint in here, you can still take a picture. I'm just seeing the ones that I've done in this one that I started. Oh, I love that. You see that? I painted that. It says Cozy Life. Oh, you love the cozy life. You can't hide what's inside. But if I wanted to turn that one into a print, I could definitely do that and take a picture. But when you do it in here, it gives you so much, I don't know, freedom. I draw in here like for ideas before something comes to life, whatever it is that I'm thinking about. Here is one that I did right here, a spread. I think this was in October. I did this one leading into that sort of season. But we got a ghost. It's a friendly ghost. It's okay. It's okay. And this little ghost is hiding in the flowers, having a good time. Okay. So I use my books like this. Now in the world that I'm in, people use these books for journals. They use them for a dream diary. If you want to keep track of, you know, anything that kind of like, you know, if you want to track your dreams and what it could mean. People use them for gratitude journals. So if there's something that you just want to every day take time, you know, to help harness the mindset of gratitude, to write down, because it's amazing when you get to the end of the year, you can look back and go, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Like I have many things to be thankful for. So that's a beautiful way to use it as well. But for me, I'm an artsy person. So that's how I use it. And I have been drawn to stationery sets, paper. Listen, I saw a picture the other day and I swear like it almost made me tear up, okay? Because it was the leaded pencils, but it was the ones with strawberry, orange, grape, and lemon. And there was a 4-pack. And you know how you take the lead and you put it into the top and your actual little pencils has the smell of fruit? Oh, it took me back. And then I was telling Matt about that. And, hey Kathy, he was like, yeah, do you remember the stickers? I was in love. I'm a sticker collector, love stickers as well. And so the whole sticker stationery thing, it just lights me up. Okay. It just cranks my tractor. My heart grows like 10 sizes bigger when you start talking about that stuff. I love it. I told him a story about how one summer, I was walking behind, like, you know, hanging on the playground. You walk behind the school. I was like maybe in grade 6 or something, but it's still a core memory in my brain. And like I'll never forget it because I love stickers so much, especially the root beer ones or the grape ones. Loved those. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Leave a comment. Tell me if you know. And so I loved all that. And I was walking behind the school one day and the wind blew, and I kid you not, papers came out of the dumpster, and the teachers at the end of the school was out. So the teachers must have at the end of the school year threw out, you know, just papers and stuff. Well, I kid you not, a sheet of root beer stickers floated out with like 6 of them. And the only way you get the sticker is if you do, you know, a good job and you get the sticker. And they were free. It was like the universe was like, oh, Sonia, here are 6 stickers for you. And it just floated out, landed on a tree, and just kind of curled up in the wind. And I'm like, I will save you. Lisa says, hey, gorgeous, are you frozen yet? We're starting to thaw today. You know, it's starting to thaw. Now, everybody's parked like every which way in the parking lot because there is no space to park because there's so much snow just pushed and bulldozed. It's not a square anymore or any sort of shape. It's just one big circle with piles just pushed up like that. I had a friend who was in the shop earlier this morning, and she said she's all snowed in and she can't get out, and she has little ones, and it's hard for her to leave the house because she's a single mom and she can't leave the kids unattended, and she can't get out, and she can't shovel. You know, the struggle is real. That's a real struggle. And so I hooked her up with some numbers that she could call. So hopefully that she's able to get a customer of mine actually during this last week and a half of blizzard conditions posted about how they had a nephew that was very motivated and eager to help other people, you know, to make money by shoveling snow and pushing snow around, which is a real thing. Yeah, I remember when I used to live in Canada in a city called Corner Brook, and I used to be a reporter there, and I would interview the taxi drivers at that time. Do we even have taxis anymore? I think it's all Uber now. But the taxi drivers, and they would call it white gold. And I remember doing so many news stories about how they called it white gold, because when it snowed, people would call, you know, for their services, and they just, you know, they'd make a ton of money, right? And it was a good time. And so I just think about, you know, that is still alive and well. The kids, the younger people who just might want to go out with a shovel, and they've got the back and they've got the energy, and they'll shovel your driveway and make a few bucks. So hopefully, you know, she gets the help she needs. I do remember being in Canada, and, you know, you get a knock on your door, and when I had my own apartment, and there'd be a kid outside saying, you know, hey, would you like me to shovel your car out, your driveway? I can do it for you for, like, at that time, it was like $5 to $10. You know, you give them a tip. I'm pretty sure with inflation, it's not that low anymore now, but I'm just saying, you know. I'm glad you're going to get your Santa print today. Nice. If you have a really pretty frame, you're going to have to take a picture. Post it in our Junk Monkey paint projects group. I'd love to see it. So this is another one I did in my book. It says, it's the shabby florals. It's kind of like, this one is just, you know, the wildflowers. You know, you got your flowers, you got your greenery, you got your movement. And then I stamped it with the words, be free. You know, we're all just a little wildflower, just blowing in the wind. So anyhow, that's how I use mine. And then, like I said, there's a bunch more things that I've painted in here. So what I do is I just paint, put this behind whatever it is I'm going to paint. And then from there, I can, like, here's one right here. You know, there's some shabby posies, right? Just fun. Just playing, experimenting. So I put one under, I put one on the other side, I paint, and then I leave it open to dry. But here's what's really cool. All right. So if you're like me, tell me if you love, like, stationery. These ones I'm going to be putting online on my website, they also have a strap. And what happens is, this is how you close it. You put it around so you feel extra magical, right? You can just, like, take your key and put it wherever. But they all have this little place right here where you can, like, put your key down through. Mine's pretty thick right now, so I'm just going to stick my key anywhere. But yeah, all right. And that's my little journal. So these here are the same way. These are white inside, nice thick, almost like a watercolor paper. It's not watercolor, it's cardstock, but it's thick, right? So that's good. And then we just wrap it around, and then it's got the little place for your key. And if you're like me as well, I love a key. How cute is that, right? So watch for those to go up on my website today. And there's the green one as well. What do you like better, the green or the neutral? If you had one, what would you put inside yours? I love this strap. I'm very much a physical textile person. Like, I love to hold things. You know, my favorite is a book. I will always love the book versus the electronic. And then you just put it in right there. And there you go. You're ready to go. Drop it in your purse. Take it with you. Whatever you want. So yeah, 2 different varieties. So I will add those a little bit later today once I get my painting done, which is what I'm going to do right now. All right, talk to me. Say hello. Say hello. Let me know you have a heartbeat. Are you a robot? Or are you for real? All right, the Junkamonkey paints. So, as you know, I know I say this a million times, but there's a lot of people who are just joining us right now. Believe it or not, even though it's been quite some time since we stopped making furniture paint, we still get a ton of people who are just maybe nowadays coming back to get another can of paint, and they're like, wait, where's everything? You know, trends change, and when you're somebody who owns a paint company and has for a long time, you know, you sit in a place, you're not a creative director, meaning that there's more at stock. You own the entire company, and you're not just selling somebody else's paint and getting a portion of it, and you're not a larger company, right? And you're not somebody who, yeah, you don't have a bigger company above you. You are the company. And so, you know, it's funny. I did a story on my other side. Like I said, Cheryl says, I think I'm a real human. But yeah, so user intuition, looked at the trends. And when you are your own company, you can see things and you can forecast things before other people do, right? So we saw the change after the pandemic, if you just a bit out from that everything was changing and people just didn't want to furniture paint. I know all the reasons why. I've already mapped it out. I've done the research. I've talked on here 1,000,001 times about that. We did our own, but I wanted to continue the Junk Monkey paint. And I thought, okay, if people are not furniture painting, you know what? Maybe this is a time to go into like a new season of something else, another project that I love to do. Paint's always been a theme for me, a thread for me. I will never stop painting. I love it. In some way, shape, or form, getting creative in my journal, on a piece of furniture, on a piece of canvas. It doesn't matter. I just love it. I really do. Painting is like a meditation, and you know, you can learn. It's practice. You can get better. If you want to get better, I'm thinking about doing some paint classes, some paint challenges. Let me know if you're up for it. I'm going to poll the audience today. Okay, you tell me that if I did some paint nights where maybe I drew out the template for you, and you can use whatever paints you want. I use acrylic paints, my own acrylic paints. You could use something comparable. You do, you boo. But just use something that's thick. Like the paints that we do, they're thicker, right? They're not like a craft paint. Craft paints are going to be a little more watery. It's not going to give you the texture that you want. I was talking to my sister the other day, and she's like, when you paint, you have like all this texture. I'm like, yeah, the paint and the technique together, you know, makes a good thing. So anyway, this is what I'm doing right now, by the way, so you can see. You're not just looking at my face. I love this one. This is like an orangey, an orange red. I've been doing lots of beautiful art lately. And honestly, I've been tapping into the portion of my ancestry. A portion of my ancestry spans the region of Iceland, Finland, and Sweden. And so I've always been drawn to this style art, and it's literally within me. And it's a folk art type. Actually, I'll show you my most recent one that I did. So I was thinking about doing some classes, and I can share with you guys a little bit of this, just the art. Really, really vivid colors, right? Oh, I love this so much. I love it. This is a thrifted frame, and I painted this bunch of flowers. Love it. But do you see that red orange right there? Pretty vivid, right? So that's what I'm aiming for. I love that. I love it very much. But yeah, just using our intuition and changing things over. So now I'm doing this paint right here, and this is what I'm into, and we shall see whatever happens. Some people say to me, I really missed your furniture paint, Sonia. I had a lady, do I want this color? I had a lady this week say that I cannot find another paint like yours, and you won't, because we had a special recipe, right? It was a homemade recipe. But anyhow, I digress, because life goes on, and we have to make smart choices. And, you know, part of being a smart business owner is knowing when the seasons have changed, and you don't keep doing the very same thing until you're absolutely dead in the water. You have an opportunity to change, to evolve. And I've been self-employed now for over a decade. And, you know, it's changed my life. And so I want to be smart about what I'm doing, because the last thing I want to do is have to, honestly, go back and do the traditional job again. Cheryl says, I have that set of the new Junk Monkey paints and I love it. I use it for touch-ups to things that have chips. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. She says, let me just see here. Works really well for touch-ups. Absolutely. So I can also, I use this to like paint, for example. I have so many pieces of furniture out in the shop that I have, I can't do two things at one time. I'm looking at paint colors and I'm like trying to like, what do I need here? That I've painted with my Junk Monkey, just putting like roses, flowers, wildflowers, anything like that on the top of. But I think it's important to use your intuition. And that is exactly where I filmed a video, as I spoke about earlier, for the other side of the house, the other side of my business. And today I filmed a video on how it's a blessing and it's a curse, but I'm a Capricorn. Any other Capricorns out there watching, you'll know when I say this, that I'm pretty sure that Capricorns have unmatched intuition. And I feel like this is what's really helped me in business, is that, you know, you can sense, you can see, you can feel, and you can forecast that now might be the time to change, you know? So my video that I did today was basically to some audio of another Capricorn that said, you know, basically, you wish you were surprised anymore. Like nothing surprises you anymore, because when you're a Capricorn, you see it coming. You can already read people. And if you've heard me say before, I feel like I'm a good reader of people. And it's a blessing and it's a curse, because you can already see where something is going. As a business owner, that's a good thing, because it can help me be smart with my decisions, not lose money, and, you know, just be able to navigate. So my question of the day is, how do you feel about your intuition? Do you feel like you're somebody who's like, yep, I saw that coming? Are you a good reader of people? Just mapping out maybe a little flower on here for this guy. Maybe something like that, a little flower. Little flower, don't say it. Cheryl says, I would love some time to try to paint like you, make some beautiful pictures. Okay, I'm gonna do it, Cheryl. That's a vote. That's a vote. That's my intuition saying, okay, if Cheryl spoke up and she said yes, that tells me that there's gonna be some other people that would most likely enjoy it as well. Call it intuition, or call it just years of also customer service experience. Before I left the corporate world, I do know that when a customer brings you feedback, not everybody wants to speak up, but the person who does can represent a whole lot of people behind them as well, right? That also feel the same way. So when you do get feedback, bad or good, you know, think about that, because there's other people who may feel the same way. So that's my TED Talk of the day. Yeah. But how is your intuition? How are you guys feeling? Do you feel like you pick up on things? All right, I'll put this down here. You guys see that at all? I think it's so important to listen to your intuition too. Like, you know, not what you're supposed to think or everybody else around you thinks, but when you know, you know. And I will never not listen to my gut. You know, the times that I have, it's like it comes back to bite you and you're like, I knew it. I absolutely knew it. And I should have, would have, you know, and you go on because whatever, but you know. But it is a blessing and a curse, because you can see through people's agendas, you know, maybe why they're around, what they actually want, what they're seeking. You can see it. And I think it's important not to be afraid to follow your intuition as well. You know, change things up. when you feel you need to change things up. I was talking to a lady last night, and she was on, I think, in Rhode Island, and she was telling me about how she's just gotten really off track, and she's trying to go back to what it is that lights her up, and she knows she needs to change what she was doing, and she wants to get into coaching people and helping other people with all of her experience, you know. And she knows she needs to do it, but she just needed some encouragement of just doing it. Like, you already know what you need to do. Now it's up to you just to do it. Because who wants regrets? Who wants regrets? So when I was a reporter, I've said before and I'll say again, one of my favorite things was to go, you know, especially around the holidays, I would get sent, and I would always enjoy the assignment. I get to go into senior homes, sit down and talk with people who've done life many, many moons more than me, and ask them, you know, just life advice. What would you say to somebody younger than you? If you could go back in time, and you're talking to people who are like in their 90s, and I'm a Scorpio, and I seem to read people 9 out of 10 times. I'm right about the person. Yep. When you know, right? When you know, you know. You can't put it back in the box. You just know. Like I said, it's a blessing and it's a curse, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know what's going down, right? But it serves you well because you can make smart decisions. But yeah, that was one of the themes that always kept coming up when I would talk to people. Just speaking with, you know, men and women, and they would say about, you know, no regrets. If there's something that you want to do, you should definitely do it. And not to care what other people think. It's your life. Whatever you want to do with it, you know. I grew up in a very non-traditional way, and I've continued to just do my own path of what I want to do. You know, was it a blessing or a curse the way that I grew up and how I was raised? As I said, just very non-traditional way. And as long as you're happy with who you are now, you know, it makes you who you are. But it gave me a glimpse early on into life to help me figure out my way as I got older. So I'm okay with that, because you never lose, you always learn. So if you're that person that, you know, you can look back and go, okay, this is what I learned with that. Yeah, this is where I want my life to go now. And you can change your life at any given point, you know, as you learn more information. But yeah, so we got a little flower. Now I'm going to trace out that flower, I think. Oh, I love this blue. I love this blue. So I will tell you that I am going to do some paint classes. I am. As I sit here right now, I'm going to do some paint classes. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to sit and we're going to yap, and we're going to talk, and we're going to make cozy art. And I'm going to give you the templates, and you can do whatever you want. And I'll show you the colors I use. Well, you're going to know I'm going to use my Junk Monkey paint. I will say one thing with the Junk Monkey paints is that there's basically 2 of each color, which it makes it really easy, because you have 2 different shades of something to bring together to create kind of the, you know, it gives you just like, things are not solid. It gives you, what's the word I'm looking for? It gives you different shades. So things look much like in life, look alive. Hey babe, here comes Matt. Here comes Matt, here comes Matt, right down Santa Claus Lane. Do you have any treats? Any treats? Matt was at Aldi's the other night, and he picked up a box of chocolates. I have not had a box of chocolates in so long, you know, with the actual key that you get. I love this so much. You know, the actual key that you get where it tells you, yeah, it just tells you what the chocolates are. It was so fun. It was so fun. It's like a treasure hunt. I like the crispy ones. I like the coffee ones. Hey, you gonna say hello?
Hi. I just ran in real quick to check on Tiki Bell.
No, you don't get to come right here, and you don't get to say hello, okay? Do you feel the pressure? Checking on the puppy dog. Tiki's behind me. So, Tiki normally has a space in a different area of the building, but because it's been so cold, we put her over here. Yeah, the heater is way warmer over here, and we can close the door and kind of keep it. So the shape of the building is a pyramid, and as you know, heat rises. So the big main part of the building, even though it's warm, if you were outside and you came in, you're like, oh, it's so nice and warm and toasty in here. When you're in and you get, you know, climatized, you're like, okay, now I'm kind of chilly. You know what I mean. But over here, it's nice and toasty. Huh, Tiki? Can you hear me, Tiki? Tiki Bell. All right, I really like that. I like it a lot. What do you think? It's just really simple. It's just a cute little flower, but it's gonna be so sweet. Oh, let me put the little, let me do this. Oh, do I need black? Do I have black? No, I didn't take any out. So what is everybody getting into today? Cheryl says, yes, I have a 91-year-old friend, and she has so much knowledge and a lot of things. You know, all I know is this. All I know is this, is that where I sit now, I know more now than what I did when I was younger, at any given age. Even when you're a teenager, you're going into your 20s, you know, you're at your prime, you're taking on the world. You know, it's like, and you think you know it all then. So if we think we've earned a lot of, you know, lived a lot of life, and we know a lot right now, if you take that age and that wisdom and you know, double it again or whatever it is, add another decade, my gosh, I don't know about you, but I've learned so many lessons the last, I want to say, of my life, definitely the last 3 years. The last 3 years, I have learned so much, good and bad, and I'm not going to redo that again. We got the t-shirt. We are not going back, okay? We are not going back. So yeah, you know, I just feel there's so much that you can take in from other people who've lived life before you. You know, take what resonates, leave the rest. But I think we can all agree that there is a theme of no regrets, do what you love. You're never too old to start something. Yeah, pursue your own passions, right? And just be yourself. Be yourself. You know, there was a time where, you know, you always care what people think. Like, you're aware of what people think. You're not trying to hurt anybody. And I don't mean anything like that. But no, who cares what anybody else thinks? Because it's not you know, they don't pay your bills. They don't live your life. They don't walk your shoes. They didn't grow up the same way you did. We all have different perspectives. And I think sometimes that gets lost, right? Like, we all have different lenses on, because like I say, I definitely grew up differently than you. And you grew up differently from me and from other people here. So, you know, we're all walking around with these lenses through just the life that we've experienced, right? And so anyhow, you know, there's that whole thing. I could get all into that. Maybe it'll be tomorrow's conversation. But yeah, today was definitely about using your intuition. But being all you, leaning into you. If there's something that you want to do, I think you should do it. I think that you should do it. And that's what I told the lady last night. I'm like, you know what? You know what you want to do. You got into a different sector of work. It doesn't bring you joy anymore. And you know deep inside what's going to make you happy. And that's the beautiful thing too, I think, about life, is that the more experience that you get, the more you know yourself. You know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what you're drawn to, and you know yourself a little better. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Tell me if you do too. Tell me if you do too. I have a few little dots right there. That's so sweet. We love it. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I would definitely hang this one on my tree, on my wall, but I would keep it up year round, you know? So you can do Christmassy ones, flowers ones, whatever you want. Okay, I'm excited. Let me plan out something fun for us to paint together, and I'll provide a template, and yeah, I'll film a little paint class and we can hang out. And if you're interested, I'll show you, like, talk to you through my brush strokes, how I do it, the colors, what's going through my brain. So if you two want to make just some beautiful, colorful art, if you just need to feel vivacious again, you just want to get into something, maybe you miss, you know, and this style art is really simple. If you've thrifted with me, you know, I always say I love folk art. I love toll painting. I started toll painting when I was a teenager. And I remember I took lessons. I would go to this lady's house, and she was on, at the time, I didn't know what it was, but now I know, and looking back, she would always give me a snack. Like, it was, I would go to her house, I would pay $20, and then every class she would break out, I got to pick whatever one I wanted to do out of the toll painting book, and then she'd show me, you know, walk me through the instructions and give me techniques and things like that. I remember doing that. And she would always provide a snack for me midway through. And at that time, she told me she was like doing, I think it was paleo she was doing. So she would always give me like just meat or cheese strings, like mozzarella cheese strings. And oh my gosh, did I ever look forward to that? It was so cozy. It would be in her house at her kitchen table, and we would paint together and have snacks and have a cup of tea. And anyway, it was delightful. Like, that was a good memory that I have. And so, yeah, painting is so good, right? Like, it is just, yeah, it does wonders for you. So anyhow, all right, let me work on that. So when I see you again, I'll have my journals online. That's what I'm going to do today for myself and my website. You know me, 2 things every day that move your business forward. So if you're a small business out there, get up, do something. Oh, look at those balloons. How do I do that? How do I do that? Is it my fingers? That happened yesterday. Where's the balloons coming from? Does anybody know? I love it. I'm down with balloons. So yeah, I'll work on something for maybe an art challenge, and we can paint together. How about that? And we'll do a special private one so those who want to do it can hang out. All right, stay tuned. Let me mastermind it. Let me use my intuition, think about what would be good, and we'll get that going. My Junk Monkey paints are on my website, junkmonkeypaint.com, or Sonia Miller Art, where I'm going to use those. That's what I'm going to use. So if you already have them, great. I sent out a couple packs today in the mail, so thank you for your orders. You're going to see me doing a lot of painting coming up because it is the cozy season, and I love to paint. And I want to paint things for my store and make a nice little art section, and I want to build up my website. So here we are, making history. Stay tuned for my first paint challenge coming up. All right, friends. Love you all. Thank you for hanging out with me and chatting with me and just being there. All right. Take care, friends. Bye.